All right, welcome to Greg's Real Revival. I'm hoping to make a real quick video tonight. I just had a Shimano Stradic 2000 FG come in from Howie up in New Jersey. And the problem is, it doesn't have an anti-reverse. And I'm going to change out his drag washer for him real quick. So let's get into it and see what we find. He's actually sent in one other reel with the same problem, so I've got a pretty good idea of what this is. But let's just look and see. These reels were made in, I think, about 2000, so they are pretty old. And as you're going to see here in a second, this one's pretty dirty. Okay, so sometimes when you get dirt down into some of this anti-reverse clutch, that's what you run into. Let's worry about this first, okay? So here is your anti-reverse. I'm sorry. Here's your drag washer. And I didn't bring the drag washer in, so I'm going to have to pause it here in a second. The first thing we're going to do is just kind of clean all this junk out of here. This looks like maybe it was stored in a storage unit or something like that. He just got it out. I don't know if that's 100% factual or not. But there we go, got all of that junk out of there. We're gonna pull out this retention spring here. Basically put your thumb in here and just get it started. And don't take your thumb all the way out until you have a hold of it. All right, there it is. So you can see still a little bit of junk on there. We'll just clean that right off, okay? All right. Next thing we're going to do is take this little cap off here. And you can see there's the felt drag washer down in there. So we'll take that out as well. Set that to the side. Now this is actually, honestly, just a little disinfectant wipe. Okay, so I can get that in there. I can clean all that stuff out. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay. Now here's a little top piece that goes on the very top, so we'll just take that. Let's wipe all that junk off of it, okay? So nothing special there. This is the tension knob for the drag washer, so you'll see a little bit of junk on there. Again, we're just going to kind of take our time and just get all that junk out of there. All right. So we are clear here. Let's clean the top side of this to make it look good. All right. So actually I'm going to leave the camera running because this is not going to take but about 10 seconds. So I'm going to run outside and grab the drag washer for this real quick. All right, I actually hit it for myself. It was right on the table underneath my drag grease. Okay, this is a Carbon Tex drag washer. Okay, before I put this in here, I'm going to put on some Cal's Universal Drag Grease. And here's how easy that is. I just dip that in there, get some on it, and I just massage that in there with my fingers. First time you do it, it'll take a little more. All right, so there we go. Got that in there. We're just gonna rub all that in. Set that down in there. Wipe this little bit of extra grease off my hands. Next thing we're gonna do is take this little cap here. It doesn't matter which way it goes. Set that in there. Now right above that is a little groove. Come on, Greg. That's where that little clip's gonna go, okay? So what we can do is kind of set one side of that in there, hold it with our finger, and just kind of push this side on down in. Okay, you can feel that snap in that little groove. So that drag washer replacement is done, okay? Next thing we've got to do, we've got to take the couple spacers there off and the click ratchet. And then we've got to take off these two screws here. Right there, and then we'll get this one right here. Then we'll take off this little plastic cover here. And here is the nut that holds on the rotor. This is regular threads. We just unthread that real quick. Set that to the side. Take off our rotor. Set that to the side. All right, now I'm just gonna wipe all the junk off here. Let's see, here's a little plastic piece that fits on top and down into that pinion gear. Okay, so here's where I think our problem is, okay? This is the roller clutch. If it gets greasy or yucky, there will be no anti-reverse. So I think that's where our problem is. So on these, there's 3 larger headed screws. Those are the 3 we want to take off. So before we do that, there's a little collar that goes right in here. Maybe you can see that. We're going to tap that upside down here because that's really important too. That can be a cause of the anti-reverse not working. Okay, so let's give that just a second. Okay, so you'll maybe see here, it's got the fatter sides on top and the thinner side here is on the bottom. So we want to make sure we put that in, fat side up. Okay, so let's just check something real quick. Let's put that back on here with the skinny side up and see if that fixes the anti-reverse. It does not. Okay. All right. So we can get that off here in just a second when we take this rotor gear off, or this anti-reverse off. So the bigger headed screws come off. They're all the same length, so they're pretty easy to deal with. Okay, so again, this comes off. Remember, when we put this back on, we want the fat side to be up. Okay, here's our roller clutch. These are what we call roller clutch bearings in here. If they get dirty, they don't work. Okay, so how do we fix that? We're going to take a Q-tip here. We're going to spray a little WD-40 on there. We're going to take this roller clutch and we're just going to roll that around in there. Alright. Back and forth, back and forth. Do it at the top also. So we just want to do this. Make sure we get everything cleaned out. Look at all the gunk coming out of there. Okay. So we're also going to do it with the other side. We'll do this 3 or 4 times. We'll do this until it's coming out pretty darn clean. Okay. Still pretty dirty. Same thing. Going around and around and around. Basically what we're doing is we're just working these and we're rolling these bearings so we get all the grease and junk out of them, okay? That one's not too bad, but let's just do it again just to make sure. All right. All right. Not too bad at all. I'm pretty happy with that. We're going to stop right there and see if we've done what we needed to do. Before I put that back in, I'm just going to take a dry Q-tip and kind of get all this extra stuff off here. All right, pretty simple process, not a big deal. We're also going to take take this also and go on the inside of this little spacer or collar, whatever you want to call it, and we're going to make sure that's clean. So it is. All right, so now is our test to see how this is working. Okay, right now, forward and backwards, doesn't matter. So we're going to put this back on. You'll see this is what changes it from anti-reverse to, it doesn't have anti-reverse, and you can back reel. Doesn't matter right now. It's just not working, okay? So you'll see that little part right there. When you put this back on, that needs to go right in that space there, okay? All right. Put that on there. Okay, let's see, almost had it. All right, so we've got that on there. You'll see that lined up, and that little nub there is right in that little slot. Change it back and forth, it'll change it. if it's working right. All right, so let's put these screws back in and see if we fixed our problem. Okay. We have this last one right here. Squirt a little bit of oil on there. Just gonna wipe that off real quick. Okay. So still nothing. We don't have the collar back on here. Okay, again, the fat side, the fatter side goes up. So we'll just put that right on there and kind of push it down in there. Now let's look. So forward, fine. Back, look. Anti-reverse is restored, okay? So that's all we did. We just took a Q-tip, put a little WD-40. You can use Coleman fuel, you can use acetone, you can use anything, but just to clean off those bearings. So now you'll see we have a great anti-reverse, okay? Switch that over, and you have forward, and you have backwards. So if you're running into a spinning reel that doesn't have an anti-reverse, and you think everything should be fine with it, just check these few things, and it could be just that easy to fix. So there you have it, folks. I'm going to put this back together, and then I'm going to clean the rest of it tomorrow, and I'll get the ship back off to him on Monday. But if you guys have a reel that needs to be repaired or a reel that you just want serviced, just email me at gregsreelrevival@gmail.com, and I will give you directions on how to get it to me and what it's going to cost you. Also, if you're interested in reel repair, if you're interested just to see how reels work, please like and subscribe. That will help the channel. Thank you guys. We're up to almost 170 subscribers right now, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it wasn't too long ago when I was at 20 something and I was happy with that. So thank y'all for tuning in, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.